Creator and His Manifestations, a dialogue on divine form, image, and eternity.
Welcome, seekers of truth. Today we embark on an inquiry into one of the most profound mysteries of existence: the nature of the Creator. Does the Creator have a form? Can we, as finite beings, comprehend the perfect, unlimited essence manifested in a physical likeness?
Indeed, the Creator is often described as having a perfect form, a form that is both definitive and yet transcends human limitations. In Scripture, we find the Creator described in human terms without being limited by them. As it is written in Genesis 1 verse 26, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." This verse invites us to consider that the Creator's form, while perfect and complete, does not strictly adhere to the confines of human anatomy or perception.
That verse is intriguing, but if man was created in the image of the Creator, does it then follow that the Creator himself must resemble man in form?
Not exactly. The biblical text reveals a nuanced relationship between man and the Creator. While man bears the image and likeness of the Creator, implying the capacity to think, to rule, to exercise free will, and even to possess an eternal spark, this resemblance is limited. The Creator, as described, is not confined to a mere human form. In John 4 verse 24, we read, "God is a spirit." This indicates that while a physical manifestation can be attributed to Him, His essence is beyond the physical realm. Creator's form and manifestation.
So, we are saying that the Creator can manifest with a visible form, yet at the same time remains an ineffable spirit? How does that reconcile with our everyday experience of the divine?
That's a profound question. The answer lies in the idea of manifestation versus essence. The Creator's form, when He appears in a manner perceivable to us, is a manifestation that provides a relatable interface for human understanding. Yet His essence remains boundless. For example, in Luke 24 verse 39, Jesus says, "Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see." This tangible demonstration is meant to affirm the reality of the Incarnation while also pointing to a deeper, unseen spiritual realm.
Philosophically speaking, how might we understand the concept of a perfect form that is both unlimited and yet displays aspects of human likeness?
Philosophers have long grappled with the notion of perfection and form. Plato, for instance, introduced the concept of the forms or ideas, perfect, immutable templates of which the objects in our world are mere shadows. In a similar vein, the Creator's form is not a static, finite image. It is an archetype of perfection, one that informs the essence of all creation. Aristotle would add that while the material world is changeable, the substance of the Creator is unchanging and eternal. The Creator's perfect form, therefore, transcends the mere physical, offering a glimpse into the ultimate reality behind appearances. Image, likeness, and human reflection.
Interesting. If the Creator is the embodiment of perfection, why then do we observe imperfections in humanity and nature?
That is the perennial question of theodicy, the problem of evil and imperfection in a creation of a perfect being. One explanation is that humanity, while made in the Creator's image, also bears the mark of free will. In Genesis 2 verse 7, it states, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life." The act of breathing life into man endowed humanity with the capacity to choose, to err, and to evolve. Imperfection, then, is not a flaw in the Creator's design but an inherent aspect of the gift of free will and the dynamic, unfolding nature of creation.
Free will is indeed a fascinating gift. How does this capacity for choice relate to the divine nature described in the Scriptures?
The Creator, as portrayed in the Bible, embodies ultimate freedom. He speaks, and creation comes into being. He wills, and the cosmos obeys. This omnipotence is mirrored in humanity by the gift of free will, allowing us to partake in the creative process, to govern our lives, and even to reflect on our own nature. As we see in Genesis 3 verse 22, "Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil." This knowledge, while a double-edged sword, is a reflection of the Creator's desire for a creation capable of thought, reflection, and growth. It establishes a bridge between the divine and the human, a connection that is as much about potential as it is about perfection.
We've been discussing how the Creator manifests in a form that is both relatable and transcendent. How do we interpret the physical attributes, the eyes, the ears, the hands, that are sometimes ascribed to the Creator in human language?
When we describe the Creator with human features, it is not to limit him but to provide a framework for human comprehension. The Bible uses anthropomorphic language to communicate divine truths. For instance, in passages like Genesis 2 verse 7 and Luke 24 verse 39, the physical description serves as a symbolic language. It helps us understand that while the Creator has the ability to interact with the material world in a way that we can perceive, seeing, hearing, touching, his true nature is far beyond these limited descriptions. The physical attributes are metaphorical, designed to bridge the gap between the finite and the infinite. The duality of manifestation and essence.
That brings to mind another inquiry. If the Creator's form is perfect, and yet beyond our complete understanding, how do we approach the mystery of the Creator's will and purpose in our lives?
Approaching the Creator's will is an act of humility and faith. The Scriptures remind us that while we may glimpse the divine image in ourselves, the fullness of his nature remains a mystery. Job 15 verse 14 asks, "What is man that he should be clean?" A reminder that our understanding is inherently limited. Yet, the Creator has given us the faculties of reason, intuition, and even conscience to guide us in our quest for truth. By seeking wisdom, engaging with sacred texts, and reflecting on our experiences, we participate in an ongoing dialogue with the divine, gradually unveiling aspects of his eternal purpose.
In light of this discussion, what are some of the philosophical implications of asserting that the Creator is both a transcendent spirit and yet has the capacity to manifest in a human-like form?
This duality invites us to contemplate the concept of immanence versus transcendence. On one side, transcendence implies that the Creator exists wholly apart from the material world, beyond the confines of time, space, and physical form. On the other side, immanence asserts that the divine is intimately involved in the workings of the world. The Creator's ability to manifest in human form is a powerful symbol of immanence. It communicates that the divine is not distant or detached but present within every aspect of creation. Philosophers such as Soren Kierkegaard and Martin Buber have explored this tension, emphasizing that true faith lies in the ability to experience the divine both as an overwhelming mystery and as a personal, accessible presence in our lives. Free will, imperfection, and divine authority.
Let's turn to another facet of this mystery, the interplay between divine determinism and human freedom. How does the Creator's absolute control over creation reconcile with the notion of free will in humanity?
This is one of the great paradoxes of theological philosophy. On the one hand, we see that the Creator is sovereign. His word alone brings forth light and life, as depicted in Genesis 1 verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. On the other hand, humanity is endowed with free will, a divine spark that enables us to choose our paths. The reconciliation lies in understanding that free will does not negate divine sovereignty. Instead, it highlights the Creator's desire for a dynamic relationship with his creation. Our choices are made within a framework that the Creator has already established, a framework that allows for both order and spontaneity, structure and freedom. This dynamic interplay is a central theme in many philosophical traditions, including existentialism, which emphasizes the burden and beauty of freedom in the face of an indifferent universe.
Speaking of existentialism, many modern thinkers have questioned the meaning of life in a seemingly indifferent cosmos. How do biblical teachings about the Creator provide solace or direction in this regard?
Biblical teachings offer a compelling counterpoint to existential nihilism. They affirm that life is imbued with purpose and meaning, directly derived from the Creator's intentional design. In Genesis 1 verse 26, the act of creating humanity in his image is not arbitrary. It is an act that bestows dignity, responsibility, and the potential for an eternal relationship with the divine. The Bible teaches that every human life is a reflection of the divine image, carrying within it the capacity for wisdom, creativity, and moral discernment. This perspective transforms the existential question of meaning into a journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth, a journey guided by divine principles and illuminated by the light of eternal truth. Time, destiny, and the infinite perspective.
Another point of curiosity arises when considering the Creator's ability to know the future and control all of creation. How does this omniscience compare with human limitations? And what does it imply for our understanding of time and destiny?
The Creator's omniscience is a cornerstone of divine majesty. Unlike humanity, which is bound by the linear progression of time, the Creator exists beyond such constraints. Job 14 verse 1 reminds us of our temporal nature. Man that is born of a woman is of few days. While we experience time as a sequence of moments, the Creator's awareness is all-encompassing. Past, present, and future are one in His sight. This eternal perspective offers us both comfort and challenge. Comfort, because it assures us that our lives are part of a larger, divinely orchestrated plan. And challenge, because it invites us to trust in a purpose that transcends immediate understanding. The interplay of divine foreknowledge and human free will has been a subject of extensive philosophical debate, inviting us to explore the mysteries of fate, chance, and divine providence.
Let's delve deeper into the nature of manifestation itself. What does it mean for something to manifest? And how does the Creator's method of manifestation compare with human creativity?
Manifestation, in both the divine and human contexts, refers to the process of bringing something from potentiality into reality. When the Creator speaks, as in Genesis 1 verse 3, "And God said, 'Let there be light,' creation is instantaneously realized. This act of creation is a demonstration of pure will and absolute authority. In contrast, human creativity, while inspired by the divine image, is limited by our finite experience and understanding. We mimic the act of creation through art, science, and innovation, yet our efforts are but echoes of the original creative act. The divine manifestation is perfect, complete, and purposeful, whereas human creativity is a journey of discovery, fraught with trial and error. Nevertheless, both share the common thread of transformation, from nothingness to being, from chaos to order."
I'm curious, how do these themes resonate with other biblical passages or teachings? Could you highlight additional verses that reinforce these ideas?
Certainly. Consider Psalm 139 verse 14, where the psalmist declares, "I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made." This verse echoes the notion that each individual is a unique reflection of the Creator's perfect design. Additionally, Exodus 33 verse 20 provides a sobering reminder of the Creator's transcendent nature when He tells Moses, "You cannot see my face, for man shall not see me and live." This juxtaposition underscores the mystery and sanctity of the divine form, a form that can be manifested for our benefit yet remains ultimately beyond full human comprehension. These passages, along with those already discussed, create a tapestry of understanding that reveals both the immanence and transcendence of the Creator. Faith, reason, and the dialogue between the divine and the human.
It appears that the dialogue between divine perfection and human limitation is a recurring theme. What does this mean for our personal journey of faith and self-discovery?
This dialogue invites us to recognize our own limitations while aspiring to the perfection reflected in our Creator. It teaches us that while we may never fully comprehend the infinite nature of the divine, we can still strive to embody the virtues of wisdom, justice, and compassion that are inherent in the Creator's design. The journey of faith becomes one of continual growth, acknowledging our imperfections while reaching for a higher, more complete expression of ourselves. In doing so, we not only honor the image in which we were created, but also participate in the unfolding of a divine narrative that spans both time and eternity.
In our modern world, where science and reason often challenge traditional religious views, how can we reconcile these age-old beliefs with contemporary thought?
The reconciliation of ancient wisdom and modern thought lies in the recognition that both seek to answer fundamental questions about existence. Science offers us models and theories to explain the mechanics of the universe, while theology and philosophy address the deeper questions of meaning, purpose, and value. Many modern scholars argue that the two domains are not mutually exclusive but complementary. For example, the Big Bang Theory speaks to the origins of the universe, yet it does not necessarily preclude a divine creator. The philosophical concept of the unmoved mover, as proposed by Aristotle, also resonates with the idea of a prime cause, a force that initiates all motion without itself being moved. By embracing a dialogue between science and spirituality, we can cultivate a more holistic understanding of reality that honors both empirical evidence and metaphysical truth. Conclusion: the eternal dialogue.
It sounds like the conversation between faith and reason is a never-ending one. As we conclude our dialogue today, what final thoughts would you leave our viewers with regarding the nature of the Creator and His manifestations?
I would say that the mystery of the Creator is as boundless as it is intimate. His manifestations, whether described in physical form or experienced as a transcendent spirit, invite us to explore the depths of our own existence and potential. The Creator, in His perfect form, challenges us to look beyond the visible and to seek the eternal truths that lie beneath the surface of our everyday lives. By engaging with the sacred texts, reflecting on the philosophical implications, and embracing the freedom of our own will, we partake in a divine dialogue that has been unfolding since the dawn of time. Remember, our journey is one of perpetual learning, humility, and awe in the presence of the infinite.
Thank you for sharing these insights. It's been a thought-provoking journey exploring how the Creator's image is reflected in us, and how our understanding of divine form informs both our spiritual and intellectual lives.
Thank you. May this dialogue inspire you to continue questioning, exploring, and growing in your understanding of both the seen and the unseen. The conversation between the divine and the human is eternal, and each of us plays a part in its unfolding. Indeed, and let this dialogue be a reminder that the quest for understanding is as infinite as the Creator Himself. Keep questioning, keep seeking, and may your path be illuminated by the eternal light of truth.
For those who wish to dive deeper into these themes, I encourage you to revisit the Bible and read the passages we discussed. Genesis 1 verse 26, Genesis 2 verse 7, Luke 24 verse 39, Psalm 139 verse 14, and Exodus 33 verse 20. Each verse opens up new avenues for reflection on the divine mystery. Until next time, may you find wisdom in every step of your journey.
Stay curious and stay blessed.